Ever since the dawn of smartphones and the modern social media platforms, their effects on human behavior and mental health have been a controversial topic within public debate. A typical INFJ is not a huge fan of smartphones and social media, because they've probably foreseen early on that a multitude of problems would arise from these quantum leaps into uncharted technological territory. Now, to be clear, it depends which social media platforms you use, in which way you use them, and how often. Not everyone is the same. Nonetheless, speaking as an INFJ male myself, I reckon that a typical INFJ still might have a huge problem with social media, and we're going to dive into some of the reasons why that could be. 1. INFJs tend to hate social media because it seems inauthentic. INFJs value authenticity greatly. They have a hard time tolerating fake or forced behavior in themselves and others. Seemingly, the majority of social media posts only showcase the positive developments in a person's life. Many people only seem to post the luxurious vacations, career advancement, the new house, the new car, and other lifestyle upgrades. Or people choose to showcase all of their good deeds for humanity, like how they've volunteered to build a school in some developing country, or how they've donated a pair of shoes to a homeless person, or how they are saving the world via their vegan diet. Now, it's wonderful that there are positive things happening in the world. The question is, why would someone only want to extensively document and broadcast that side of their life into the world? The most important people already know at first hand about that person's life successes and altruism, like their family, friends, and the people they've helped. Why intentionally start to record a video as you walk up to that homeless person to help them? Could there be any ulterior motives here? Could this be moral grandstanding? Furthermore, anyone who's alive today for more than 15 minutes knows for a fact that life isn't all sunshine and roses. That's why the extensive documentation and meticulous curation of only the favorable events and virtuous acts in a person's life on social media seem inauthentic to the INFJ. Seeing that makes the prototypical INFJ want to take a shower afterwards. 2. INFJs tend to hate social media because it seems to glorify and breed narcissism. It's well known that narcissists are the INFJ's archenemy for numerous reasons. No wonder the typical INFJ looks at social media platforms in horror, since these platforms seem to be a festival for narcissism. The countless airbrush selfies, self-centered boastful posts, status updates, the incessant attention and validation seeking through the ceaseless pursuit of likes and comments, the never-ending striving for a larger social media audience to broadcast to, and valuing people solely on their amount of social clout. Looks like normal social media behavior, right? But you could ask, who cares about your tweet saying you were buying toothpaste right now at your local supermarket? Who cares about your status update saying you're so displeased that out of all trains, someone decided to jump in front of your train because now you are late for class? Who cares about your cringy post by which you broadcast how touched you are by the 758 Facebook friends you barely know? Who wished you a happy birthday via Facebook? Who cares about your online photo album called The Chronicles of My Crazy Little Beautiful Wondrous Life, or any other pretentious title? Who cares about your selfies with vinyl records in a record shop, even though you never bought or played a single vinyl record in your life? Who cares about you proudly and spitefully posting the complaint letter you've sent to your sexually active, noisy neighbors on your Facebook wall for everyone to see? Who cares about that Instagram story where you flex with how much fun you're having with your friends at that exclusive party? How could you record a TikTok video of yourself and your partner crying while breaking up your relationship in the hope for some likes? Who cares about that haughty tweet saying you felt triggered by a violent scene in a science fiction series called Star Wars, and that you demand streaming services to provide you with a trigger warning for every offensive scene, which was kinda already in the title? Who cares about your 280 characters long layman's Twitter thesis on every trending complex geopolitical issue? Normal behavior within the social media sphere? Yes, but statistical normality doesn't necessarily equal sanity. The notion of writing a social media post because you think it's self-evident that the world is specifically waiting on an update on your mundane life and your extremely limited take on global warming is a peculiar proposition, to say the least. Now, a little narcissism isn't immediately a problem. Yet there seems to be a subtle slide towards the more problematic side of the narcissism spectrum over time when it comes to behavior on these social media platforms. Of course, there are numerous people that have something to say, and online discussions can have great social utility. However, when the typical INFJ witnesses the display of mass glorification and breeding of inflated self-importance without any merit, it can't help but shiver out of vicarious embarrassment. 3. INFJs tend to hate social media because it exhausts them. A typical INFJ tends to be sensitive. In a significant amount of cases, even highly sensitive, which is characterized by being very perceptive of subtle stimuli in their environments. For instance, picking up the vague white noise sound of those old 80s television sets from a different room, or sensing subtle shifts in someone's emotional energy. This heightened sensitivity can be conducive to high-quality, intimate relationships, as highly sensitive people often are good at sensing what their partners need. The downside is that the heightened sensitivity is taxing, because when the nervous system picks up easily on sensory signals, it can also more easily be overstimulated. A lot of INFJs struggle with this daily. They carefully prevent becoming overstimulated, as this leads to stress and exhaustion. That's why INFJs tend to stay away from social media. The constant stream of scattered short-lived information, emotional impressions, frequent updates, intrusive notifications, and the sheer volume of all that information in all its different possible formats at your fingertips can be overwhelming to the INFJ. On average, people spend 147 minutes, 2 hours and 27 minutes, on social media each day. That time isn't all packed in one continuous session, of course. Time spent on social media is typically scattered throughout the day. To be going back and forth from your daily activities to social media via your smartphone or computer and taking in all that ever-changing information is exhausting to many INFJs. To them, it's like pulling up with a car to 100 miles per hour, hitting the brakes again, and then pulling up again throughout their day. So INFJs rather stay away, choose their social media platforms carefully, or try to strictly manage their social media time. 4. INFJs tend to hate social media because it depresses them. Many social media platforms function as a digital circus, where everyone comes to perform their act for a large audience. Like was mentioned before, everybody is doing their best to showcase a carefully polished image of themselves to hopefully get some digital validation in return. The amount of success, the glamorous lifestyle, the interesting activities, personal viewpoints, beliefs, the amount of high-end social events they're part of. All of it is broadcasted into the world, and everybody seems to compete by trying to trump each other, or at least keep up with the Joneses. To an average INFJ, it's a sad sight to see and a very depressingly phony one. Because in this strange game, you automatically tend to compare yourself to the whole online world as a singular entity. And because the online world is a vast place, you'll always find someone who's doing better than you in whatever area you value. So that means you can't really win. Nobody wins. If you're caught up in constantly comparing yourself to others who are outclassing you like that, it's inevitable to end up depressed sooner or later. And the data seems to support this. 5. INFJs tend to hate social media because it seems to deteriorate the quality of human interactions. INFJs are all about high-quality social interactions. They make sure to communicate thoughtfully and respectfully because they aim to create a harmonious social atmosphere that fosters authentic and open communication. This is beneficial for all parties involved from the INFJ's perspective. Since the advent of smartphones and social media, the general quality of social interactions seems to be deteriorating. You can see it all around. Friends going for a coffee at a cafe but looking through their smartphones in silence as their coffee gets cold. Couples going out for dinner, sitting across from each other while both being on their smartphones for long stretches of time while eating. Parents having lunch with their baby at a restaurant. Both parents sitting at the table across from each other looking down to their phones, while their baby is in the middle looking at them all confused in silence like a tennis match referee that's impatiently waiting for a tennis player to begin their serve. Youngsters with their earpods and smartphones having a FaceTime call with a friend while buying something at the grocery store, but continue the call while paying no attention to the cashier during the transaction as if it were a robot servant. I used to have a friend who frequently complained about her best friend's texting habits. When they hung out, her best friend was frequently on WhatsApp texting other friends, but when that best friend was with those other friends, she was frequently texting my friend. In a sense, wherever she wasn't really there. My younger Gen Z cousin told me she watches Netflix shows together with her friend while they both stay at their own homes, post-pandemic. And even though they live in the same neighborhood, they discuss the show with each other via WhatsApp chat while watching it. Now, to a typical INFJ, all of the above would be blasphemous from a social etiquette perspective. Granted that INFJs spend most of their time alone, yet when they have set aside some time to meet someone, INFJs really want to give their undivided attention. They'll do their best to make sure the other person feels seen and heard. That's why INFJs tend to hate social media, because all around they notice a pattern of the negative effect it seems to have on the quality of social interactions they value so much. 6. INFJs tend to hate social media because it seems to increasingly set a lower bar for content quality and achievement. INFJs very much enjoy quality products and services. They don't tend to be shopaholics, but when they decide to acquire something new they like for their clothes, gadgets, and other personal items to be built to last, the same goes for the content they consume. As lovers of beauty, INFJs seek out content with a certain inspiring, deep, and beautiful quality to it. For example, a timeless literary work or a heartfelt podcast interview jam-packed with wisdom they can revisit to savor every jewel inside. In the last decade, social media and the growing online market and business space have proven their power to speed up people's journey to success dramatically. Where before the dawn of social media, it took perhaps decades to build a profitable business or thriving artistic career, today you could achieve this within a year or two with limited resources, all because of the boundless scalability the online world provides. The power of going viral on these platforms with immense audiences launched many to instant stardom even. An unparalleled development that has created countless great new opportunities and avenues through which people can make a living and change their lives profoundly. Sadly, it simultaneously causes the masses to try to shortcut the road to success even more, which leads to fluff content, plagiarism, overpriced shallow online courses, uninspiring AI writer bot blog posts, lazy reaction video channels, sleazy marketing tricks, and online shopping scams.
You didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word.
It's hard to deliver high-quality content if you just impatiently try to churn out as much content as possible for the sake of having content. Luckily, there's still enough good quality stuff out there if you look carefully enough. But when an average INFJ is looking for quality, unfortunately social media with its digital polluted seas full of empty-worded ebooks and online deserts filled with heinous pyramid schemes wouldn't be their first thought. 7. INFJs tend to hate social media because it seems to program the need for instant gratification. INFJs are renowned for their idealistic life goals. High goals which might take at least a decade to achieve, if not more. By being so future-oriented, INFJs don't seem to mind making the necessary sacrifices in the present to reach that distant North Star that glimmers faintly above the horizon. A typical INFJ most likely developed strong mental muscles like self-discipline, self-control, self-motivation, perseverance, determination, diligence, visualization, strategic thinking, and analytic prowess. INFJs are like bodybuilders when it comes to their strong mentality and flex their mental muscles proudly in the metaphorical mirror. They gladly receive and give respect to like-minded people, as those individuals understand what it means to hone those mental skills. However, these mental muscles aren't just for show. Mental toughness is needed to reach their ambitious goals, which is characterized by delayed gratification. Social media, on the other hand, is a place of instant gratification. You can easily entertain and distract yourself with the easy, digestible content social media provides for instant, short-lived highs. Clearly, it's very addictive, because a lot of people seem to never get enough of it. Whether it's a stream of notifications or the next bizarre 10-second video, the idea of the next thing is intoxicating to many. But once you're stuck in that addictive cycle, you are like a lab rat compulsively pulling a lever for the next short-lived high. This seems to be one of the reasons you see so many people glued to their smartphones, checking their smartphones every 5 minutes to see if there's an update, something new, the next thing, reacting to every incoming bleep, notification, or update immediately, distracting themselves for hours scattered throughout their unproductive day. Not being able to sit in silence somewhere for 5 minutes, always needing to be externally stimulated wherever they are. Allegedly having attention spans similar to that of a goldfish, being bored easily and lacking any imagination, creativity, or the ability to entertain oneself. INFJs tend to be disgusted by this behavior because they value self-control and self-reliance. To be completely at the mercy of a smartphone device and the events on social media platforms is a weak mentality to them. You'll easily fall victim to whatever temptation presents itself to you. You'll be easily malleable by the powers that be and easy to sell useless products to. On top of that, you won't be able to achieve any meaningful goals, because you distract yourself all day and erode your self-control gradually. Yes, INFJs are surely projecting and very judgmental here, yet they can hardly stomach the degenerate mode of being that is considered normal these days. 8. INFJs tend to hate social media because they're very private people. Public display of intimate parts of one's life on social media, like pictures of family, birthdays, weddings, vacations, isn't a comfortable idea to most INFJs, simply because they are very private beings. Knowing that many people know a lot about the INFJ's personal life is a thought that can make INFJs anxious. They could understand it if you share things on social media for business purposes, a project, or to raise awareness for a certain cause. But to upload a lot of footage of your everyday life into the cloud where it stays permanently is a strange idea to them. A loss of control, when people know too much about you, is probably the underlying cause of the INFJ's privacy. In the end, you also don't know who's watching you and for what reason. 9. INFJs tend to hate social media because it enables toxic behavior. Have you ever walked down the street and started screaming, shouting, and throwing insults at a stranger because you didn't like their clothes, body shape, or the type of groceries in their bag? No? Why not? Probably because you're a decent human being. Probably because bystanders would judge you and cause your social reputation to decline in your community. Probably because the police would come and arrest you for disturbing the peace. Probably because you might get punched in the face. In real life, your negative or antisocial behavior usually has immediate consequences. The dawn of the internet and social media platforms with the possibility to remain anonymous has changed that in a way. Any vengeful, spiteful, cynical, or miserable person can just log into an anonymous account on social media platforms and start to bully, insult, stalk, or accuse people they despise for no apparent reason. It might be because of opposing political views. It might be because they're jealous of that other person's success. It might be because they had a bad day. Whatever it is, it's immoral, and they can do so with almost no consequences. That's why the comment sections of YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook are infamous for being cesspools. The empathic, polite, and philanthropic INFJ sees this enabling of malevolent behavior due to the structure of social media platforms and is repelled by it. They rather stay away from witnessing all that toxicity or becoming a target of it. What do you think? Do you as an INFJ hate social media? Tell us why or why not in the comments section. Watch this video next.